Elena dropped her fork mid-bite and said, "We got M." Just like that. No build-up. No warning. 1 second we were eating salmon at the kitchen island. The next she's pulling her phone out like it's a scratch-off ticket. I blinked. What? The triplets. The agency said yes. Her hand was shaking as she tapped open a photo. They picked us. She turned the screen toward me. 3 little kids. 2 girls and a boy, all maybe around 1. Big brown eyes. Matching outfits. I felt like my stomach dropped straight through the floor. Holy shit, I muttered, and then laughed because that was all I could do. Triplets. She was already nodding, tears in her eyes. They're siblings. Private agency out of Nevada. The birth mother specifically wanted them kept together. I told the agency we were open to multiples, and they picked us. I just sat there, staring at the photo. Everything around me blurred. The sizzling pan, the sound of her chair scraping as she rushed to my side. I felt this mix of panic and pride choking me. 3 kids. Not 1, not 2. 3. Mark, she whispered, resting her hand on mine. This is happening fast. We're finalizing in less than 2 months. They're already in temporary foster care, but it's just a stopgap. I looked back down at their faces. One of the girls had this tiny curl sticking straight up. The boy had a drool bib that said, "Feed me tacos." I chuckled, then blinked hard. "What do we need?" I asked. "What's first?" From there I was all in. That same night I was looking up third-row SUVs, calling my mom in Ohio, measuring the spare bedroom to fit cribs. I went down a rabbit hole on YouTube about installing car seats. Didn't even sleep. By the next morning we were touring baby furniture stores. Elena grabbed my arm in the middle of Bye Bye Baby and said, "We need to start thinking big, like real big. Maybe sell the condo. Get more savings stacked. Look into shared leave at your job." She was glowing, buzzing. I could feel her energy burning through the air like static. I hadn't seen her this alive in months. Not since we got the rejection letter from the state agency after 3 years of fertility issues. And yeah, I felt something click. Like maybe this was finally our chance. Our family. I pulled out my phone and opened Zillow. "Let's find a place with a yard," I said. She grinned. "That's what I'm talking about." And just like that, we were future parents of 3. The next day, Elena texted me while I was at work. "Jared's helping us find listings." I stared at the message. Jared? She hadn't mentioned him in years. Childhood friend, realtor, openly gay, that was all I knew. His Instagram looked like a Zillow ad crashed into a drag show. Loud, flashy, over the top. I didn't care either way. If he could help us find a house fast, great. But it was weird how fast he became part of every single thing. By the weekend, he was riding shotgun to every showing, clipping tape measures to his jeans like he was auditioning for HGTV. "Oh my God, this kitchen is giving farmhouse fantasy," he said during the first tour, waving his hands like a game show model. I nodded politely. Elena giggled. First, I tried to laugh it off. He said he was dating someone named Ethan, some tech guy who hated the spotlight. Seemed odd, but whatever. I just wanted to find a place that wouldn't bankrupt us with daycare and formula. But then Jared started tagging along for baby shopping too. Diaper bags, gliders, swaddles, he had an opinion about all of it. And not quiet ones either. "This car seat is trash. We're not letting our babies ride in this," he said in Target, tossing it aside like it was a clearance bin blender. "Our babies?" I looked at Elena. She just smiled and pushed the cart. And he wasn't just hovering around her. Jared started texting me like we were buddies. "Hey, check out this listing. Think the nursery would fit 3 cribs?" Or, "We gotta nail down that inspection date, Papa Bear." I didn't answer half the time. Didn't matter. He kept texting. What really set me off was when I got looped out of the agency emails completely. "Hey, did they confirm the paperwork date?" I asked Elena one night while folding laundry. She blinked. "Didn't Jared forward it to you?" "No. Why would Jared be the one forwarding that?" She looked away. "Because he's just helping me stay organized." 2 days later, she changed the password on our shared email. "Why'd you change the login?" I asked. Too many spam things coming through. I needed to clean it up. You could have just told me. It's not a big deal. Except it was. She started taking phone calls in the bathroom. Closed the door every time. Her phone barely left her hand. If it wasn't in her hand, it was face down. I wasn't a jealous guy, but I wasn't stupid either. One night we were looking at a duplex, and Jared pointed at the upstairs room and said, "This could be my office. I mean, Elena's office." He gave this fake little laugh. I froze on the stairs. "Your office?" "Oh, just kidding. Just riffing." "Calm down, Mark." Elena didn't say a word. Later that week, Jared came over for dinner. I didn't want him there, but she invited him without asking. He brought overpriced wine and a candle that smelled like vanilla funeral. Halfway through dinner, he said, "We're gonna be such great parents, right?" He winked. "We?" I asked, stabbing at my overcooked chicken. He backpedaled fast. "You know what I mean. You too. I'm just excited for you. I mean, these babies are gonna be loved beyond belief." I didn't respond. I just kept chewing. After he left, I turned to Elena. "Why is he even saying things like that?" "We?" She sighed. "Because he's invested. He cares. He's been helping me through all this. I thought we were helping each other through this." She stood up. "I'm tired. Can we not?" And just like that, the conversation was over. I walked over to the laptop that night just to look at our budget spreadsheet. The tab was closed. When I reopened it, everything was renamed. The sheet wasn't even shared with me anymore. Jared had access though. I checked the agency inbox. I wasn't on the list anymore. That was the moment I felt it deep in my gut. Like I was standing in a house someone else had already moved into. I came home 2 hours early that Friday. Office power outage, nothing left to do. So I figured I'd surprise Elena with takeout and maybe catch up on bills before she got back. Her laptop was sitting open on the counter. The screen glowed with an unread email notification. "Guardianship test results, confidential." I don't usually touch her stuff, but the subject line hit me like a hammer. Adoption, guardianship, confidential. I dropped the takeout bag and clicked. The email was from an attorney. Attached was a PDF. I opened it. Right there in black and white. Biological father, Jared Walters. I froze. My chest felt like it was caving in. I scrolled down, hoping I misread. But no, it was a full guardianship test. The triplets weren't orphans. They weren't random agency kids. They were Jared's. My hands were sweating onto the keyboard. I clicked back into her inbox. More emails. Thread after thread. Legal talk, dates, forms. And then the one that gutted me. Elena to Jared. "Just let Mark think it's through the agency until we finalize. We need his name on the insurance. And he's too excited to question anything." I had to sit down. My legs just gave out. So this was the plan. Not our adoption. Not our miracle. They were using me. My money. My insurance. My name. I scrolled further. Another email. "He's pushing for the bigger place. Perfect. It'll cover us long term. Don't say anything yet." Another. "We'll present him with the final guardianship papers once it's locked. He won't back out once it's official." My head was buzzing so loud I thought I'd pass out. 4 years together, and she was running a con right under my nose. I yanked my phone out, forwarding everything to myself as fast as I could click. Every PDF, every thread, every shred of proof. My fingers slipped a couple times from the sweat, but I kept going. I wasn't leaving a damn thing behind. I stopped on one email where Jared had written, "Don't worry, he's a nice guy. He'll be a good provider." Provider, not partner, not father, just a wallet. My jaw locked so tight it hurt. I heard her keys in the lock and nearly jumped out of my skin. Slammed the laptop shut, shoved it back exactly where it had been. My pulse was so loud I couldn't even hear her footsteps. "Hey, you're home early," she called, setting her purse down. "What's for dinner? Picked something up?" I said, forcing my voice flat. I shoved the takeout bag across the counter. My hands were still shaking, so I stuffed them into my pockets before she could notice. She smiled, kissed my cheek, started unpacking cartons. I stood there, nodding like I was in the room, but I wasn't. I was replaying every laugh, every late-night call she took in the bathroom, every time Jared slipped and said we. It all made sense now. I went to the bathroom, locked the door, and checked my inbox. The forwards had landed safe. Hundreds of pages of betrayal waiting for me. I leaned against the sink and stared at my reflection. My face looked hollow, like I'd aged 10 years in a day. Heartbroken didn't even cover it. I didn't sleep that night, but by morning, I knew what I had to do. Pretend. Keep smiling. Keep nodding. Collect the evidence, play along, and wait for the right stage to burn it all down. So that week, I became the perfect boyfriend. When Elena told me over breakfast, "I think we should look into hiring a live-in nanny," I just nodded. "Good idea," I said, even though inside I wanted to laugh. A nanny. For kids that weren't even mine. She beamed and started Googling agencies. That night, she slid a spreadsheet across the table. "I need you to talk to your boss about overtime, just until things stabilize." I clenched my teeth, then forced a smile. "Yeah, I'll figure it out." She didn't notice my fists under the table. Jared was everywhere, louder than ever. He'd plop himself on our couch like he owned it, spread baby catalogs across the coffee table, and throw out names like he was already signing birth certificates. "What about Fitzgerald for the boy? Or maybe Hemingway?" he said one night, swirling a glass of my whiskey like he paid rent. "The girls could be Harper and Sylvia. Classy, right?" I kept my eyes on the TV. "Those are something." Elena jumped in. "I love Harper. Don't you, Mark?" "Sure," I said. My jaw ached from smiling. Jared grinned, satisfied, like he'd just won something. The pressure didn't stop there. Elena's mom cornered me in the kitchen one Sunday after church lunch. She lowered her voice, but her words hit hard. "You're about to be a dad of 3, she said, pointing her finger at me like I was a teenager caught with a beer. "Are you ready to be a provider?" I wanted to tell her I wasn't their dad, that I'd been conned, but instead I swallowed it. "Yes, ma'am," I said. She nodded like she'd just knighted me. Every conversation that week was the same. Jared deciding, Elena demanding, her mom reminding me to step up, and me pretending I wasn't about to blow their whole game wide open. Because I had a plan now. The housewarming party. Both families. All the friends. Everyone who thought this was our fairy tale adoption story. I offered to make a slideshow for it, pitching it like some heartfelt surprise. "Something to show the journey," I said, grinning like a fool. Elena's eyes lit up. "That's perfect," she said, throwing her arms around me. "You're amazing." I hugged her back, my face calm, my hands steady. But inside, I was counting down the days. 7 nights of playing the doting partner, 7 days of watching Jared puff his chest like a third parent, 7 moments of Elena looking at me with fake softness. And all the while, my finger hovered over the folder on my desktop, the one labeled Final Cut. They had no idea what was coming. The next morning, I stood in the kitchen with a mug of black coffee and casually said, "Hey, what if I made a slideshow for the housewarming? Like a little adoption journey recap?" Elena lit up like I'd offered her a diamond ring. "Oh my God. That would be perfect. Everyone would love that. You're such a sweetheart." I shrugged like it was nothing. Figured it'd be cool to show the beginning, the process, all that. "You're amazing," she said, wrapping her arms around me. I kissed her cheek and nodded. "I'll make it special." That night, I opened my laptop and got to work. Started with baby photos, the early application documents, the furniture we picked, all that fake happy crap. Then I created a new folder labeled Truth. Dropped in the email threads, the guardianship test, the insurance plan forms with my name on them. I even included the quote where Elena wrote, "He's too excited to question anything." I saved them for the final slides. Black background, white text, no music, just the facts. Jared, meanwhile, acted like he was planning a damn wedding. He texted Elena nonstop about color schemes and napkin folds. He sent me a Google Doc titled Party Vibes and Baby Joy Master Plan. Thinking we go with a pastel rainbow theme, he said when we met at the event rental store. Like soft but still bold. This is our big day after all. Our, I said. He laughed and waved it off. You know what I mean. You, Elena, me, the dream team. I fake laughed back. Totally. He spent 10 minutes picking centerpieces like it was the Oscars. Meanwhile, I kept picturing the look on his face when that final slide hit the screen. That night, I called Ben, my buddy from college who now handled corporate law down in Tampa. Told him everything. Send me the emails, he said. I did. 2 hours later, he texted, you're golden. Everything came to your inbox. No illegal access. You're free to show it. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I opened my slideshow and cleaned up the timing. 15 seconds per slide. 30 on the last screen. By Friday, Elena was practically vibrating. She came home with balloons, 2 racks of champagne, and a new dress that still had the tag hanging from it. I can't believe how fast everything's coming together, she said, holding my face in her hands. This is gonna be the best day of our lives. I smiled. Yeah, it really is. That night, she made dinner, actual homemade dinner, which she hadn't done in months. Chicken marsala, garlic bread, even dessert. Afterward, she leaned against the doorframe in a silk robe I hadn't seen since year 2. She walked over, slow, and put her hands on my chest. I missed this, she whispered, kissing my neck. I missed you. I kissed her back. Let her keep going. Played it like I was moved. But in my head, I was picturing that projector screen lighting up, watching her face drop. Jared's too, because tomorrow wasn't going to be our big day. It was mine. By 3 p.m., the condo was packed wall to wall. Elena had gone full Pinterest, white and gold balloons everywhere, a welcome banner that said home plus heart equals family, and little mason jars filled with pink and blue M and MS. About 50 people showed up. Her parents, her sister, my coworkers, friends from her job, even neighbors we barely talked to. And, of course, Jared center stage like always, running around with a clipboard and Bluetooth headset like he was stage managing a Broadway show. This is it, he said, clapping his hands. Let's make magic, people. He actually called it magic. I kept my smile on and checked the projector setup for the 3rd time. HDMI connected. Remote working. Sound off just like I planned. The food was done, the gifts were opened, onesies, bottles, 3 of everything. Everyone was tipsy, laughing, full. Elena stood near the front, champagne in hand, cheeks flushed. She tapped her glass. Okay. Before the night winds down, she said. Mark has something so special planned for all of us. He put together a slideshow of our adoption journey. He's been working on it all week, and I haven't even seen it yet. She turned to me, smiling like we were about to cut a wedding cake. I walked up, clicked the remote. The screen behind me lit up. First came the sweet stuff, a photo of us at the agency. Then the baby gear, ultrasound printouts, crib assembly, paint samples, group shots with Jared standing way too close. Everyone awed. A few people clapped. Then the music cut. New slide, black screen, white text. The truth about our family journey. People murmured. I heard someone near the back whisper, "What?" Then came the first email. Jared's name as the biological father, bolded in red. Gasps, loud ones. Someone dropped a glass. Another slide. Elena's email. Let Mark think it's through the agency until we finalize. We need his name on the insurance. And he's too excited to question anything. I let it sit for 10 seconds. The room went dead silent. Then I stepped up to the mic. I found these last week, I said, voice steady, not yelling, just loud enough to slice through the silence. The triplets aren't orphans. They're Jared's biological kids. And Elena never told me, because I was the mark, the financial support, the insurance coverage, the guy who'd be too excited to question anything. Jared was frozen in the corner, mouth slightly open. Elena's mom clutched her chest like she'd just witnessed a murder. I clicked again. Another email. He's pushing for the bigger place. Perfect. Every decision I made the last 2 months, I said. was based on a lie, and the two of them planned every word. That's when Ethan, the elusive boyfriend, stood up from the back row. Tall guy in a gray polo, eyes locked on Jared. "You said this was a fake adoption," Ethan said slowly, voice cracking. "To help a friend. You told me it wasn't real." Jared stepped forward, stammering. Ethan, listen, You lied to me," Ethan snapped. "For months." Elena lunged toward the mic. "Stop this. You're ruining everything." I stepped back, letting her grab it. She fumbled the cord. People were already standing up. Elena's sister covered her mouth. My mom shook her head and looked away. I raised one hand, calm. "I'm done playing along." Then I turned and walked straight out the sliding door. Behind me, the chaos blew open. Yelling, crying. Someone knocked over the cake table. Elena shouted something, but I didn't look back. I kept walking down the porch stairs, across the grass, past the cars lined up down the street. The truth was out, and I was finally done pretending. I was halfway down the block when I heard the screen door slam behind me, followed by a sharp, panicked shout. Someone yelling my name. I didn't stop. By the time I reached my car, people were already spilling out of the condo like rats off a sinking ship. Jared stood on the porch, looking dazed, holding a plastic cup like it might anchor him. Elena was crying to someone, maybe her sister, but nobody was comforting her. I got in, started the engine, and left. No hesitation. That night, I didn't answer a single call. My phone lit up like a slot machine, vibrating nonstop. Elena, Jared, her mom, unknown numbers. I let it all ring. The next morning, I checked my inbox and found a 2-line message from my dad. "We saw enough. Proud of you. Call when ready." That was it. But it hit harder than any apology ever could. By Monday, the fallout started rolling in. Elena got served an eviction notice, delivered by my lawyer. The condo was mine. Bought it 2 years before we even met. She wasn't on the lease and she knew it. I gave her 72 hours to vacate. No grace period. No conversation. Tuesday afternoon, she showed up at my job. I was coming back from lunch and saw her and her mom standing outside the building like they were there to sell me cookies. "Mark, please," Elena said, rushing toward me. "We need to talk. Can we please just—" Her mom jumped in louder. "You're making a mistake. The kids." I stopped her cold. You don't get to guilt me after what you pulled." Elena's voice cracked. "They need a future." I kept my tone even. "They have one. With their father. Who is not me." She flinched like I slapped her. Her mom grabbed my arm. "You're heartless. After everything you promised." Pulled away. "I didn't promise to raise another man's kids behind my back." They stood there, stunned, watching me walk back inside without looking back. Later that evening, Jared tried to catch me outside my building. He was parked by the curb, leaning on his car like we were about to have a bro-to-bro heart-to-heart. "Mark, man. Listen, I just want to say, I didn't stop walking. Save it. Please," he called out. "I didn't mean for it to go this far." I turned around. "You lied while playing house, and you let her lie for you. That's all I need to know." He looked like he wanted to cry. I didn't care. Back inside, I dropped my keys on the counter and stood in the silence. The same walls that used to hold all her stuff now felt like mine again. No diapers. No Jared. No fake promises. Just peace and the sound of nothing. By Thursday morning, Elena's pity parade hit social media. She posted a black and white photo of the triplets' empty cribs with some sappy caption. "He walked out on them. On us. 3 innocent babies. All because of pride. Broken heart." Facebook, Instagram, even LinkedIn. She tagged me in the first one like I was gonna let that slide. The comments poured in half sympathy, half outrage. "This is disgusting. Men like that shouldn't be allowed near kids anyway. Sending prayers, mama. You're so strong." I stayed quiet. Let it build. Let her dig. Then Ben, my lawyer, stepped in like a sniper. He dropped screenshots of the emails, the guardianship PDF, the fraud line about using my insurance. Right there in the Facebook comments. No caption. No commentary, just cold, hard facts. 1 minute it was all poor Elena, and the next it was pure whiplash. Wait, so, Jared's the dad. She tricked him into signing off on stuff? This was a setup? By the end of the day, she'd turned off commenting. But the damage was done. And Jared? He got smoked. Ethan went nuclear on his Instagram story. Some of you know my now ex was involved in a lie that hurt a good man and dragged innocent kids into it. I'm done. Don't ask questions. Don't DM. He knows what he did. Jared tried to save face, but it didn't last. Clients bailed. He lost 2 listings within 48 hours. By the weekend, he scrubbed his socials and went dark. That's when Elena made her next move: court paperwork. She filed for cohabitation support, claimed I promised to care for her and the children as a family unit, and that she'd become financially dependent on me. Ben forwarded me her claim with a note. She's bold. I'll give her that. His reply to the court was short and sharp. No marriage, no shared assets, no biological or legal children, and the petitioner engaged in material deception throughout the relationship. We didn't even need a hearing. Her case got dismissed before it made it to a judge. After that, her tone changed. Fast. First it was just silence. Then her friends started falling off. The loud ones who cheered her on at the party, nowhere to be found. The most satisfying part? Her sister, the one who always acted like I wasn't good enough, commented on her latest post. You made this mess. Stop blaming everyone else. Elena deleted it, but I saw it. A few hundred others did too. And I didn't lift a finger, didn't say a word, just watched it all collapse from the comfort of my clean, quiet place. No baby gear, no guilt, no lies. The email came in on a Tuesday. Subject line: Notice of court filing Walters versus Walters. Jared's parents weren't playing anymore. They'd filed for emergency temporary custody of the triplets and demanded a court-ordered paternity test. I wasn't surprised. I'd met his mom once. Hard stare, tight handshake, called me Mitchell, and never corrected herself. His dad didn't speak, just nodded like a CEO who didn't have time for small talk. Apparently, the whole "I'm gay and just helping a friend" bit hadn't flown when the slideshow hit their inbox. Turns out Jared had been lying to his parents for years. Said he was dating a woman long distance. Told them the kids were with a trusted surrogate. They'd only agreed to keep funding his lifestyle if he produced heirs. Real talk heirs. So now they were coming for what they believed was theirs. The court forced the DNA test. Within 2 weeks, results were in. Jared Walters' 99.98% match. Elena showed up to the hearing in a blazer and borrowed heels, holding a folder like it would protect her. Jared looked like he hadn't slept in a month. The judge didn't waste time. "Mr. Walters," she said, tapping the file, "you're the biological father of 3 minors. Effective immediately, you're ordered to pay $2,200 a month in child support." Jared stammered. I can't afford that." The judge didn't flinch. "Figure it out." I could feel the heat off his panic from 3 rows back. Meanwhile, Elena tried to get slick again. I got a notification from my HR department. Someone had tried to enroll dependents under my insurance plan. 3 kids, all listed under my name. Then I got an alert from a daycare in town. My name was added to a pickup list I'd never approved. She still hadn't learned. I walked into the fraud division at my job and filed a report. Sent them every email, every legal doc. Within 24 hours, she was flagged for attempted insurance fraud and unauthorized data entry. They didn't press charges, but they documented it and sent a report to the court handling the custody case. 2 days later, Jared's parents filed a motion. Full legal and physical custody of the children. On paper, their reason was unstable domestic environment. But everyone in the room knew what that meant. Elena. She went ballistic, screaming in the courthouse hallway, throwing papers at her lawyer. Jared stood 10 feet away, arms crossed, saying nothing. His parents didn't even look at her. I left that courthouse without saying a word to anyone. But I couldn't lie, it felt like closure. Everything they'd tried to build on my back was crumbling piece by piece. And this time, I wasn't the one getting hurt. 3 months later, I was in a new apartment across town. Smaller place, but clean. Quiet. Just mine. No high chairs. No cribs. No Jared. No Elena. The triplets ended up in Elena's parents' basement. 3 playpens lined up next to the laundry machines. According to a photo her sister leaked in a group chat. Jared was doing double shifts at a mid-tier brokerage downtown. I heard through Ben that he'd taken up DoorDash at night just to stay afloat. Court didn't care. He owed $2,200 a month, and the judge wasn't budging. He barely saw the kids. Elena posted about it daily. One of her Instagram stories showed a half-empty tub of formula and a Venmo handle with the caption, "Anything helps. 3 mouths to feed and no support." She made her page private after the comments lit her up. People weren't pulling punches anymore. You lied. You pay. You had a good man and blew it. Ask the real dad. I watched from a distance. I didn't say a word. I had other things going on. Someone knew. Her name's Rachel. Smart, sarcastic, works in healthcare. She knows the whole story. I told her everything on date 3. She didn't flinch. Just said, "Damn. You're lucky you got out when you did." She was right. One night, I got one last text from Elena. "Please, they need a stable father figure." It should have been you. I stared at it for maybe 10 seconds. Then typed, "Then talk to their father." Blocked her right after. No hesitation. A week later, Ben showed up at my door with a housewarming gift, thin black frame. Inside was a printout of that first email. "Just let Mark think it's through the agency." He'd written in Sharpie on the matting, "Most expensive slideshow in history. Worth it." I hung it in my kitchen, right by the coffee maker. First thing I saw every morning. I didn't need reminders of what I lost. I needed proof I'd survived it. No more games. No more lies. Just peace.